Thank you for listening to the Spin Cycle podcast. Don't forget to follow us on your podcasting platform so new episodes are automatically downloaded to your device. You can also follow us on Instagram, Link My Ride and Strava, so you can see where we are, what we're up to, and the rides we've got planned. Anyway, enough of me. Let's get into the episode. Thanks. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spin Cycle podcast talking to the personalities, brands, and groups that make London and UK an incredible place to be a cyclist. We'll get straight into it. It's Nathan and I this week. Got a list of topics to talk about, but the latest development in Spin Cycle HQ. NJ, you now have a gravel bike, and have you been on a few rides with it, from what I understand?
Firstly, you call me Nathan. Hitting out the government names on the World Wide Web. I think I bought it about like 2 months ago, and then didn't start riding it until 3 weeks ago. I just sat here for a while. I was like, this is basically get a new commute bike, and then occasionally do grav. After the North London debauchery boys hit me with the gravel propaganda of, I think, sending me a gravel bike every other day, I think, on WhatsApp. And after a year to 6 months, I finally buckled when a Delio came up, and then got this nice secondhand Trek Checkpoint 4 off a guy called Paddy.
Shout out Paddy.
Who's also known in the London cycling scene. I bumped into him with John after Trash Chat Laps in Via with his new bike, and he was just looking at the Trek, and he was talking about how much he misses it. He was just like, I love this bike because you just chuck it anywhere. And he was like, I do like my new Cannondale, but maybe it's a bit too new and shiny for him at the moment.
Do you think you're going to sell it back to him as a premium then?
Who knows? Probably not. I need to I need to do a lot of stuff to that bike. First thing is setting it up tubeless, because the ride at the weekend, I got 2 punches. So
haven't you also? So maybe you're setting me up for a bit here, but you've done 2 rides,
2 rides,
2 crashes,
2
punctures.
I know, that's why they call me Mr. 222.
Oh my god! No.
Yes. Yeah. First ride. We rode from London when Big T was back.
Oh yeah,
1 week, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I rode to my parents. Basically, I rode from London to Guildford with them, and
nice.
they did a longer loop, and I think they ended up at Guildford. Oh my god, it was some of it. I was like, whoa. I have not been off road in a while, and I could feel it. It was kind of scary. And then the last hill we went up, I don't know what is it. The down. I don't know what. It's basically, Coombs Lane in Guildford.
Yes.
Do you know what that whole hill bridge? I don't actually know what it's called.
Is it the one? Oh, outside of Guildford, near me.
Sort of, yeah.
Is it in between where I live and Sheer?
Yeah. So there's like I forgot.
It's near a ridge There's a ridge that when you have to go over a climb no matter what to get back.
Yeah.
Back to London.
Yeah. So I cycled up there off road, and it nearly killed me. I don't even know what
I think it might be Coombe Lane.
Yeah, it was basically Coombe Lane, and then you go a bit further down. When you get to the top of it, you sort of go down, and then there's that other one. Other descent, I've forgotten what it's called, which we did on Suffering in Surrey that time, where you go down and you go across the bypass, and then you go down those back into the country lanes, and then you end up at Ripley at some point.
Oh yeah, that is up Coombe Lane. Yeah, that's absolutely, that's horrific. That's got the hairpin on the top, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, I did the off-road part of that, and it killed me because it was just like, when it's your first, I was like, I got dropped by all of the other boys quite quickly, and my heart rate up there was like 177.
Okay.
And I think my max is 192, so we're very high for 8 minutes. Hard effort.
Okay. Yeah, you're quite high for that.
And then, so basically, you're going up, you're going over like lots of tree roots, And I was like, I don't know which line to take, so I was just going all over them. Really
Mm.
bad. But the tires were probably far too high. And then there's deep gravel, which is like fucking horrible to go through as well. And it was just like the worst 8 minutes of my life. And then when we got to the top, there was like a real boggy bit, which I think we all walked because it was like bog and then barbed wire on either side. So if you like
Gravel sounds really fun, mate. You're really selling it to me and everyone listening. Yeah.
But but before that, we went through some nice. I think it's like Oxshot. Does that sound right? Oxshot Woods.
Yes. Oxshot, yeah, Oxshot's nice.
Which is super nice. And then because I'm always at the back, the boys rip past dog walkers, and I'm like, "Morning!" Like, and they're like looking petrified for their lives. But it was pretty nice, super nice day, that one.
So,
and then
your second one, the second one, a couple of crashes.
Yeah, with the 2 crashes was the SSX Mystery Tour Social with Universal Colours and Liam Yates. I knew I was in trouble when Liam, who's the organizer of the SSX, come on a full suspension mountain bike, and and then the boys have sold this as a gravel ride, so I was like, I don't really know what to expect here. So it was 40 Ks. I think about 800 meters of climbing. It was basically like four big climbs, 4 big descents. I can't really remember much flat. So the first, so like I guess the first 5K was all on the road, and I was like, oh, this is easy. And then you turn onto gravel, and you're like, oh, this is quite fun. And then we went down this grassy descent, weaving through sheep, and there was like sheep shit going everywhere. So you don't want to sit on the wheels for that. Kind of a bit disgusting.
Get the arse stopper on. They work 100% of the time. So get one of those straight on, is what you say.
Yeah. And then we were going down to the bottom. There's a dog walker, so everyone's slowing up. Courteous. We're moving to the left hand side, and then bang! I'm just looking at the sky. What's happened here? Because I guess the grass is kind of thick, but you can still like ride over it. Basically, there's a whole I don't even what like a massive fucking hole that's been covered by by grass, which is probably about like a foot, which my front wheel's gone into, and I flipped over.
So your front wheel just stopped, and you just continued on going.
Yeah, and I kept moving.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then I got up. Actually, I was like, if this was on road, I probably would have smashed both of my, who knows what. Probably would have broken a hip, but because we're off road, soft landing. I've just got up, and I'm like,
yeah, but all things being equal, are there potholes that big?
There probably are, depending on which roads go down these days.
Yeah, forget
out. But you would see the pothole. That is the difference, unless you're like in some crazy chain gang going like 43k an hour, where you can't actually cool it. But yeah, it's a weird sensation crashing, getting up and being like, usually I'd feel pain, but I don't. But maybe I shouldn't have had those thoughts, because later on,
the second one, however, I've heard about the second. I think I got sent a photo, not by you, but one of our friends, about the second one. Why don't you tell the lovely listeners at home what happened on the second one?
The second one,
without opening yourself up for slander.
The second one is we're going down, I guess, a nice chalk road. You got a bit of white on the tires. You're like, oh, this feels like I'm on Strada Yankee.
Bit continental, maybe.
Yeah. Everyone else has gone away. There's me and a woman in front, and then we're coming. She's sort of on the crown of the road, and I'm on the right. And I'm like, should I overtake her? Should I not? I was like, no, I'll stay behind her. And then we're coming up to these 2 puddles, and I'm like, hopefully, because the way I don't know if this is the right technique or not, but when I see like sort of puddles and bogs, I just drive through them, because I feel like the quicker you go through them, you let your bike like move, but you keep the power down. And so far, so good. I've stayed upright, and I've done that in bog. Everywhere I go, I'm just like, as long as you've got power, constant power.
You could be maybe using the skills honed in pints and pave, bit of extra torque, just glide over. Essentially, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you let your bike kind of do the steering, but you push the power, and then you you just ride it. and you kind of just like, as long as your legs are keep moving,
Hmm.
I feel like that's how physics works, right?
Yeah, but generally speaking.
Yeah. But she slowed down, was I kind of sped up, and then I tried getting around her, braked, front wheel's gone, smack into landed in a puddle, dirty puddle. But then in this puddle, it's like, because it's all chalky, you kind of got that flint kind of ground.
Yeah,
And I've
it's
got
very,
up, and then it's
very
just like
sharp.
my arm here. This is a viewing experience. You won't see it, but
Oh
it
Jesus,
land on
it's a
this
big blaster, mate.
arm. So there's like basically three cuts on there, and then instant blood.
Just pissing
And
blood
she was,
everywhere.
she felt very bad, but luckily she had those styro strips, whatever they're called, the plasters, the strip
Yeah, I know
pass.
what you mean.
Yeah. Luckily she had those, so we put that on, and a walker poured some Fiji water on me to clean up the cut.
I mean, that's
And
very Sussex, isn't it?
Pat was behind, just happened to be behind. And then the guy had some tissues. Pat took the electrical tape off his pump. We wrapped it on as like a makeshift bandage until we got to like the
I'm sorry, but that's the
social
most
stuff.
that's the most gravel bandage I've ever heard about in my life.
And then we got to the stop, and all the UC staff helped me, and we put plasters on it. And then by the time I was at like Ditch and Beacon, and my arm was just full of blood, and a lovely woman named Harry, who was wearing the same outfit as me, and also crashed.
Oh.
In her bag, she had a bandage, so we actually bandaged me up properly, and then lost everyone. And then we cycled through the middle of this meadows because on the map it was just like, oh, there's no path. Maybe it's just we'd cycle through this field. And then we got to the end of the field. It was like on the left of the field, there's this path. So we purposely rode through this field for no reason.
Brilliant.
But it's all about the suffering and the stories you have. But there we have it. But it was fun.
The kit was good. You got it's sponsored by UC, right? Universal Colours. You got some quite nice kit by it.
Yeah, the kit was nice. Brown shorts, lime green top.
What did you end up getting?
Lime green top, some brown cargo shorts. After speaking to the style committee, the shorts had to be brown, if not abuse for black shorts.
Oh, okay. Black shorts too traditional.
I think so. That's what our friends over at Trash thought when I was like,
oh yeah, of course.
We asked them.
Also,
black shorts and brown shorts.
Yeah, it also kind of goes back to As You Desire, right? The last truly stylish team in the peloton.
So who knows? Maybe I find an AG2R jersey to wear with the brown shorts for Pints and Pave for the Roman Bardet effect. As we all know, Roman and cobbles go well to. I don't know if AG2R have ever had a good cobbles rider. So I don't think off the top of my head. I guess they signed Greg just for that.
Yeah,
purpose,
but Greg
right?
Van Avermaet, he was big when he was there. He was still at Lotto, right? And Quick Step. That was when he was good.
And I guess it was like Oliver Narson before that.
Oliver Narson's pretty good.
Yeah, because he was getting top 10s. But before that, I have no idea.
No.
But yeah, the gravel ride was good. We had big roads, single track. There was one bit where it was like I had to walk it. It felt like it was like 20% single track for a cornfield, which was quite fun. It's good at building technique. It's good at like, I guess, doing a different kind of workout. So whenever I got my road bike now, I'm like, oh my God, this feels so light and so nimble.
Brilliant. No, that sounds like quite good fun.
Yeah, I had a good day. Went to the pub, fixed 2 punches. Need to sort out tubeless, so I don't have as many issues. So you can run those lower pressures.
Sorry, right.
Yeah, need to clean the bike, but we'll get back to it. I've had a couple. I've not cycled this week. Maybe I'll go out on Friday, do some check laps, see how it feels. But still got a bit of bruising on my left side, so not a price. I don't have to cycle. Let's not just talk about my cycling. I hear there's a new chopper in town when it comes to London commuting. His name's Cam Allen.
It's me. It's true. I commuted in Tuesday last week. If this
So,
helps.
so what setup are you riding?
I am riding Factor Ostro Vam, Dura Ace, 50mm deep wheels, Vittoria Corsa tyres, pumped up to about 8 psi, and I'm fully there. I'm fully in the mode.
Have you got a
Having a
bag
little
on your
rucksack.
back or not?
Yeah,
Oh,
got a little bag. It was a
is
bit.
it? Do you have a laptop in the bag?
Yeah. So I've got laptop. We don't have towel service at my office. But the guy cycling with Simon, he's got towel service at his place, and there's a drying room at his place as well. It's not at mine, sadly. So I couldn't really fit a full towel into my rucksack. So I ended up taking a hand towel. So I've got like a really small towel as like my showering towel, like that scene out of
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch. Essentially, I've got that towel. And yeah, commuted in. I'm not gonna lie, it properly broke me. I think because the guy who I'm training with, guy who I ride with, Simon, listen to this podcast. Hi, Simon. His FTP in the wind is my FTP in his wheel. So what that means is it's full gas everywhere. So I commuted from Ripley to the city, and this includes, I went Ripley, Cobham, Esher, Kingston, Richmond Park, Barnes, Putney, Fulham, and then the cycle lane. Right, so there's quite a lot of traffic, quite a lot of cars and whatnot. People, and a lot of people in the bike lane. I think we did an average of 29k an hour, and it was like essentially it was threshold for me for an hour and a half, and then I was like, oh, okay, got showered, felt great, bit of endorphins in the body, sat in front of a spreadsheet, crushed it. Didn't fuel correctly during the day. I just drank a Huel, had a fizzy water to keep me full, which is like what I normally have when I'm not riding. And then riding home on Tuesday, obviously it was windy. You sent me a message. Oh, do you think it's going to rain tonight? As I was fucking standing in Cheapside with a rucksack that was hurting my back in a little map race cape, going like, oh my God, I've got an hour and a half to go. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get home. It was so windy. And, sometimes you go out on your bike and you're like, I just want to turn back. Mate, there was no turning back for me because it was point to point. I couldn't just like cut the loop early and, just somehow make my route. I had to get home.
And they don't let bikes on those trains
I don't know,
until
like
like
especially
after
rush
7.
hour. Yeah. So I was fucked. I was completely fucked. Plus, my daughter goes to bed at about 7:30, so I was like, I need to get to bed. I need to get home by 7 because I at least like to see my daughter. Because I left the house. I left the house at crack of dawn. Out the house at 6:30. Met my mate in Cobham at 7. Got to the office 7:45 by the time I'd faffed about. Yeah. So commuting is great. I really am enjoying the going in. I don't know how
Yeah,
I feel about the coming back. The coming back for me is, I don't know if even it's a mental thing because I
it'll
think,
be it'll be much better if come summer holidays.
yeah, and I think from a mental point of view as well, it's like, you wake up, you're like, right, okay, you're in a bit of a rush, you get out the door, and then it slowly gets busier, right? Slowly gets busier. Like I wasn't say it was dead, but it was all right. And you get into town and it's like crazy and it's like crit racing. Everyone's like banging 900 watts to jump traffic light, which is quite good fun. And I'm like overtaking people on e-bikes, like flicking elbows, whatnot. But the way home, it's grim, mate. I'm knackered. I don't want to be on a bike.
Yep.
And then as soon as you step on that bike, I'm like, cool. I've got to do 45Ks now. So yeah, I did. I ended up doing 88K yesterday. I woke up this morning just fucking starving, mate. Starving hungry. And we're
You've got to
recording
go
this
in.
on when we're recording this on Wednesday. I don't know if I'm ready yet to commute in tomorrow, 2 days in a row, because I think we talked about, I don't know if we talked about this, you and I, or we talked about this on the podcast, but I want to try and get up to 10 hours a week on a bike.
We have talked about this. I said
Yeah.
I do 8.
Right. So I'm desperate to get to 10.
I told you just be consistent to begin with, and then slowly increase.
Yeah. Ignore that.
Yeah.
Ignore that. Here's
Just
what you do.
Just be consistent.
Blow yourself up in the first week and never do it again. So ideally, I would like to do 3 hours on a Tuesday, 3 hours on a Thursday, 3 hours on a Sunday, fuck about, and then maybe an hour on Swift here and there. But overall, I don't have. I would say I had the most unnecessary commuting rig going. My friend turned up on his winter bike, and obviously right now I don't have a winter bike. Potentially subject to change in the new house. We're moving house, but yeah, for now I'm just commuting on a Factor with aerodynamic wheels, and it just when I pull up at a set of lights as well,
it feels too much.
It looks ridiculous. Like I will say as well, which I've noticed, is that when you're commuting, you can tell the people that are cyclists, because I saw a guy in Putney, and he was like t-shirt on, pair of bibs underneath.
Yeah,
but he also
vibes.
had vibes. But he also had on what did he have on? Oh, he had an S-Works Evade. He had the aero lid, so he was like t-shirt on, but like saving 10 watts with his helmet. I was just like, what the fuck's going on here? So yeah, mixed bag. I think I enjoyed it. I say I enjoyed going in. I hate coming back. Maybe it's because it's so windy and rainy, but I was just like cooked. Hated it.
I think it's because you drank a fucking Huel as well. That is not good nutrition.
Oh, to be fair as well. So I packed 2 gels. So when there was the Wiggle liquidation closing down sale, they were doing like a box of, I think they're 15 gels. I ended up getting a box for $5. So I just bought loads, bought one of every flavour, carbohydrate gels and caffeine gels and whatever they had. And I had to nail 2 back to back over Kingston Bridge, because I was like I was in behind Simon's wheel. I was just like covered in like road spray mud. I was a bit tired. My bag was getting heavy. I was a proper sorry state.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll find it. Yeah, you're going to find a lot better if you do one of these chilled and one of these not behind Simon's wheel.
That's what you were saying, right?
You got because I usually in the morning I do like when I go into the office I do chilled laps and regions, because I'm like, I've got a whole day of work. If I fucking flog myself, like we're gonna be going doing like threshold efforts in the morning when you got to sit at a desk from like 9 to 5 and like interact with people, because it's usually quite hard. And then on the way back, that's when you hammer it. So you need to have one calm commute and one hammer commute.
I think so.
If not, because if you do double, essentially you're doing like a double session, because they're what, an hour and a half each, right? Threshold sessions in a day, and that's what like pros do. When they're like, I'll ride my ride bike in the morning and TT in the afternoon, they probably like eat more than a drink of fuel.
Anyway, for those watching on YouTube, we're actually going to head to a break, or listening, we're going to head to a break. My wife fell down the stairs when we tried to record this last week, so listen back for the last 10 seconds. You might hear that. But yeah, let's head to a break. Welcome back, everybody. Change of clothes, and I've trimmed my beard in the break section. Aforemented stair falling incident. But the thing we want to talk about, or I want to talk to you about, is the spirit of gravel, primarily. I think you sent to me, or John Bennett at Trashmile in our little group chat centre, the person with the head full disc wheel
There were some looks. There were some looks.
And like this, like spirit of gravel used to be against people riding, like it's not an elite sport thing. It's a quite inclusive thing. And now Lachlan Morton won it, right? But he won it on a Lab 72, Lab 71, whatever it is, Cannondale. But he was also wearing a skin suit with a camelback attachment in it.
Oh yeah.
So I think we need to discuss the state of some of that. If I'm honest with you,
I think the spirit of gravel died. This may or may not be true, but I remember reading somewhere that there was like a gravel team where it was like one of the, like, basically they got something like 3 or 4 men to basically drop back to the women's race in Unbound, I think, and then they would like pace her back to like the main group when she got dropped.
No,
this was like a couple of years ago. So
really,
yeah, I'm sure someone will tell us if this is true or false. But I remember reading something along these. It might not have been Unbound, but it was something along those lines of like the spirit of gravel is everyone's like a privateer, independent person, and then like I guess gravel team started, and then it's like, oh, here is people manipulating the rules of just having like people of a different gender manipulating a race for like a different gender when you, I guess, all mixed up. For this year, yeah, that whole bike. Well, I'll flash it on screen, and it was like super deep front wheel, nearly like a full disc wheel, and then it was kind of like, I don't know how you want to call it, but they kind of like tried to. I don't know if there was a bag there or anything, but it's kind of like it looked really budget, trying to like do
plywood
like
fenders,
DIY aeroing your bike frame.
Have you ever noticed as well? Anytime anybody does like a proper gravel race, there's always like a story of a really big adventure where it went really wrong. They found themselves in precarious circumstances, and then in the end, it came right. Do you know, like, what's the one in? Is Unbound the one in Kansas?
Yeah,
or wherever it is. Last year when it was like really muddy and people had to stop and things like that. The stories that always come out of it are, I was mile 400 of a 700-mile gravel ride.
But that's
in the middle of
that's ultra distance.
It's in the middle of the
gravel.
night, and my rear derailleur snapped, and the only thing that was open was a gas station full of MAGA trucks. And one of the guys took me in, he took me back to his house, and he had guns on the wall. I was really worried for my safety, but you know what? It's actually got a really good, on a human level, it's great that we connected. And then, I finished the race, and it's just really speaks to me about the human connection of cycling. That's what the fucking stories are.
It sounds like the state of LinkedIn Twitter feed that you could go on. It sounds like one of those, like I fed this dog in the morning, and when I went for the interview, it was that dog I fed kind of vibe.
But honestly, I think there was a couple of brands that are doing it right, like the Camelback integrated into a skin suit. So the whole idea that gravel is I think is a bit privateery. I mean, as soon as you get an S-Works gravel bike, it's over, right? The big SRN.
Yeah. Because Dylan Johnson they got unveiled the Rule 28 aero suit with the 3-litre Camelback in it as well. So I think it's all, and Castelli had one as well, and now Rafa had one. So I think it's just like one of these things. But I don't really mind it if they want to. I guess it's it's an elite sport at the end of the day, whether people like it or not.
There's money, right? It's now got money. The difference is it's now got money in it. When money's on the line, you do everything you can.
And I like that Lachlan Morton rode with a wooden stick in his back pocket for the whole 200 miles, just to get mud out of the bike if needed.
Is that what that was for?
Yeah, I assume that's what that was for. Taking mud off your bike, right? If it's all clumpy on your tires, you just get the stick and hopefully it gets it out because it's all sticky. I guess it's like that peanut butter.
Yeah, I saw some footage of it. It looked quite decent. Is Unbound I don't know too much about that racing scene. Is Unbound the kind of the jewel in the crown? If you went Unbound, it's like the
it's like basically the gravel world champs.
Oh, nice.
And then the UCI created their gravel world champs. But I think if you win Unbound, you're like the gravel god. It's
So
the one that everyone picks
gravel.
for, basically.
So the UCI gravel is still, that's never had the spirit of gravel, but Unbound is the elite spirit of gravel.
You could say that. But I guess the UCI one is just like we want to make money off this gravel thing, but we don't have to go to America, so we'll just do it all in Europe. I think it's in Italy again, and all of the pros turn up on their normal bikes just with probably 33 wide tires and a little bit of knobblies on them. Like,
no, I think Mathieu van der Poel did it last year on a Canyon Air Road.
Yeah, I thought it was just like the normal ultimate. It's basically whatever takes the big tires they'll just use.
It's like Poggy doing Strada Bianchi on a V4 RS, isn't it? And like a proper hard race bike. So the spirit is well and truly dead, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess you get those gravel wheels that have like 40-inch depth these days, right? So the aero gains, I guess once the aero gains, and then you see the guys with like the aero bars and like the clip-ons and stuff like that.
That's quite a thing though, isn't it? People putting the clip-ons on. Is it because you're doing so much distance that it's all a slight marginal gain, or is it?
It probably is. Yeah, I don't know if they're still allowed because I know they're like quite dangerous. Can you imagine that riding like a TT bike on gravel? I can't imagine it's like the most sturdiest of things. Like you have to be properly like locked in. But it was a thing. I think they do it in ultra distance quite a lot, just because it's. But they're like ultra distance races are like you're by yourself, kind of vibe.
Self-supported, isn't it?
Yeah,
like Chris
because
was saying, it's like
because it's like 560 kilometers that you have to do in like 3 days or something, or a day, kind of thing. Like stupid long distances.
Like Chris doing
so you need different positions, I guess.
But he told us he's doing his 24-hour TT, right? That, and I think that's going to be in a TT bike.
Yeah, I don't think I could do 1 hour.
I've never been on a TT bike. I'd love to give it. Cam and I were in Sigma on Sunday. To get myself some new low light lenses, which is what you buy when you just enter summer. You buy the low level lenses, these little pink ones, people on the screen.
Oh, nice.
And
are they 100%?
No, these are Oakley Sutro Sweet. Yeah, cheers. Oh, come on. You got to look good when you're commuting. But I think they had a Pinarello Bolide in there, with like 3D printed bars and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
just want to have a go, Like I've never even been on one. I just like to have a quick go.
I saw today that the new Willia TT bike will set you back €27,000.
What?
For a Willia TT bike. But they're doing it. I think Stefan Kuhn was riding it at the Tour de Suisse today. And it came up on my Twitter feed.
Is that one of those it's available for sale UCI things, do you think?
Probably, yeah. Like, because who's going to be like, I'm looking for a TT bike, I'm going to buy a Willia. They're not really like...
Say the same thing.
Yeah.
Just buy a Shiv, move on. Everyone knows it's the best.
Like,
move on.
There's like, what, maybe 3 bikes that you'd probably pick out of? I think it's the Specialized Shiv, whatever the Pinarello is. I forgot what it's called.
It's the Bolide
Pinarello. Yeah. And then is it the giant one? I think it's quite fast as well.
The Canyon Air Max, maybe. Or the Cervelo one. The Cervelo one is quick. But yeah, Willia is. I don't think it's on the list of aero rigs optimized for fucking around Regent's Park. Is it really?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's someone that listens to this podcast, that rides a TT bike around Regents. But I just need. I think I've told you this before, but now I'm on blast. Do you imagine you're waking up? It's 4:00 in the morning. You got married, you got kids, big job in the city. Because why else are you buying 15 grand for a fucking like Cervelo TT bike unless you've got that kind of cash? Skin suit, cone helmet, aero socks, and the wife goes, "Oh, trying to wake me up. Where are you going?" I'm actually just going to go ping round Regent's Park, full of cars and cyclists, and that's what you do. You just. I can't abide by that. Or like you're going down Cannon Street and you're just like looking like freaking Darth Vader. I can't abide by that. I'm afraid I can't abide by that.
Half of me respects it because you're like you found your cycling niche and you're just going hard on it, and half of me is just like, surely you should like just put normal wheels on it because you don't want to wreck your like disc wheel. And that's like for events, because imagine if you're doing the whole kit, you must be doing TT events, so you might as well save that kit for when you're like in the event to like hype yourself up. You'd be like putting the
Training
race,
wheels.
like putting the race wheels on, putting all the disc,
Yeah.
putting like the 80 front, disc wheel back. You're like, I'm gonna fly today, brother. And then just round
box
regions,
sections.
and just
Box
round
section
regions,
training on box sections. Yeah.
round regions, you just put like 250s on, wear a normal helmet, so you're just like you're purposely going slow. So when you put it all on, you feel the real benefits, and it like juices you up a bit. Well, that's how I would do it, because I'm like, I need all the like mental gains that I could probably get if I ever did a race day.
I think we should get you a race day. We said this before. I don't know if we said this on the podcast, but one of us needs to go and get tested in the Westminster Sports Science. Like
I think what we do, we just for one day we'll do a 2-up TT together on like something like club ride, like on some local. I think like CC London do one in
right.
Hertford. Well, it's in between like Hertfordshire and like London. It's in that weird dead zone spot.
Yeah, I know we are.
I think it's like around in between Brayford. I think it starts in Brayford and it's like 2 laps. We'll get nowhere near winning it, or even like basically just don't come last. Is the mantra that we'll go with.
We've got to do. Mate, we've got to get full optimized for that. We know enough. We know enough coaches. We know nutritionalists. We might be getting a bike fitter on this podcast. TBC.
Oh, life. Yeah, also, what we should do is, Corey and Josh, they love a good bet, so we just bet them. We find a 2-up. They don't know about this yet.
Versus them.
We'll click this and then we'll tag it in. But a 2-up TT where it's like you got to do 2 laps and then you got to run to the pub and do 2 pints. Although I don't drink pints, so we'll have to substitute it for something else. But
yes, mate.
Because a pint of wine.
I'm desperate. I'm desperate to get you into that Westminster Sports Lab. Have you looking like fucking Lance Armstrong in those Nike commercials? Do you remember when he was all like
labbed up?
He was like, like labbed up, juiced, but like 4% body fat. He had the thing on his mask, sweat dripping. I think we need to get you on one of those. Get you doing a ramp test, like Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. ramp test
with like lactate needle in the
ear. Gotta be in the ear. And then you go down to
Roehampton University, because friend of the pod Leon, who also listens, he says he mentioned that they do it there.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
And then we need to get you down to Woking in McLaren Technology Centre, the MTC. In the wind tunnel, 100 grand an hour. Get you in there. It's okay, we'll get sponsors, pay for all this. Get you in there. And then, we'll just... Then I reckon you might be able to...
Yeah, and I can be like...
how...
We'll buy like the worst bike, like a really cheap bike, and be like, how to optimize your entry-level setup.
See, this is fucking what GCN should be doing. This is what GCN should be doing.
But because no one should buy a new bike. They should all just buy like haggard second-hand bikes and be like...
Just get new legs, mate.
Just fucking pimp them up. And then like shred all the people in S-Works.
Here's what you do.
And then be like, I paid £600 for this bike, and then watch all of them like...
I've got an idea. How much S-Works tarmac? 12 grand? I'm going to save you money here. All right. Go get yourself a Carrera or a Boardman, Halfords, 1,000 quid. 11,000 budget left. Flight to Turkey, 500 quid. Get to those places. Legs, teeth, combo. Fly back, new legs. You'll be just as quick. Go in one of those places that do your teeth and your legs. Flying, mate.
What are they doing to your legs?
I don't know, like juicing them up. You know what they can do.
But they
I've
might
heard
take your
about people.
kidney because sometimes the contract.
I've heard about that. I've heard
I
about
had,
that.
yeah,
I've heard
you're
about that.
going to go very off topic, but you got to listen. Apparently, sometimes you get the
Mhm.
contracts in Turkey and people don't read them, and then they
Of
go
course.
for these operations, and they're just
Mhm.
like missing like 2 kidneys or something like that. It's just like,
What?
yeah, yeah. It's just like, oh, if we need to take one of your organs, we will. And most people don't get it checked by like a translator, sign it, send it back. They're there, and then they wake up with like all these like stitches on their body, and then when they come home, they have to go straight to like A&E to get their like, infected body sorted out. And they're like, they've taken like body harvesting. So
Well, it's just one way to skip the NHS queue, isn't it?
it is.
Regardless. No, but honestly, I think we should get you to Westminster, the lab.
Yeah. Talking of the lab, we need to
Right.
test your special drinks mix, don't we? So maybe we need to do like pre and
Great
post.
segue.
If
Great segue.
if this drink mixer, you should probably let the listeners know what you've bought after speaking, with Will. What have you
Yeah.
bought from the internet?
All right, cool. So I was like 10 pages deep on the Trainer Road forums. I was well deep. People talking about ratios.
Is that when it's like the back arrows? It's got like page 9. You can't even go back to the first page.
Oh, mate! And I started on page 1 as well. That's the sad thing. And I'm not even
How
a
many
member of
posts are
Trainer
in
Road.
like? How many posts are there per like if?
Oh, like
forum
20.
reason?
20. I read like 200 comments of these people that have got like watt bikes and all sorts of stuff talking about optimized dosing. Like they're curing COVID. It was weird.
They microdosing.
Anyway, so there's some bits on that forum that just best left untouched. If I'm honest with you. Anyway, the Trainer Road forum is exactly what you think it's going to be. It's exactly everything you think.
Everyone else about FTP.
FTP talking about aero optimization. Talking about like they're all doing like rolling resistance charts on tires. Like it's just like really weird part. Anyway, so I got onto like a nutrition thing on Trainer Road podcast, on Trainer Road forum, and then I bought just like a miscellaneous bag from My Protein. The serving suggestion is 50 grams. It's a 50-gram scoop, and that 50-gram scoop gets you 48 grams of carbs. Okay. Now,
so 50-gram scoop is 48 carbs. So what's the other 2 grams?
I don't know. Don't look into it. Don't bother, mate. But the thing about it is, and I think I told you this, the serving suggestion is 1 scoop per 200 ml. And I run 500 ml bottles.
Oh yeah, that's super strong, right?
So they're advising me put 125 grams of carbs per 500 ml of liquid.
And it's flavorless, right?
Oh yeah, totally flavorless. Straight in. So I've got a thing of Morton here. This is Morton 160. So the Morton 160 is 40 grams. It's 39 grams of carbohydrate, but the difference on this one, I think, and this is where this gets way off topic, and this is how like nerdy this stuff is. So some people are going, Beta Fuel and Morton are 1 part maltodextrin to 0.8 part glucose or fructose. They're basically the same thing. So basically sugar.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets you safe because I think it's the difference between where the carbohydrate sits. It's either in your liver or pancreas. I think that's what it basically comes down to. I don't know. I need to re-listen to the Will Girling podcast. Available on all major platforms. But there's no way for me to tell if this works or not. Because there's no way for me to do a control. Because I'm not a fully loaded AK professional cyclist. I'm just putting this in my bottles and thinking, yeah, it should work. But I will say one thing, and this is why, and I've just been I put the maltodextrin only in the bottles over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Seemed fine. Put a little bit more.
It's
because
the weekend.
gains. Yeah, it's because it's the weekend extra carbs for your boy. And here's what I will say: 2.5 kilo of maltodextrin. I think it could have been in the sale, but 2.5 kilos cost me £6.30.
That's what we
So
love to hear.
even if you only,
Dilios.
mate, even if you, so it's 2.5 kilos, right? So you go 2.5.
I think my bag of sugar that I use in my bottles costs £1.25 for 1 kilogram.
Really? So even if I say 2.5 kilos is what? Is 2.5 kilos is what's that in grams? 2.5 kilos. 2.5 kilos is
Is that 2,500 grams? Or is that
2,500 grams. Yeah, Christ, mate, come on, you do maths. Divide 50. Like, that's a hell of a lot of bottles I'm going to be able to do in there. 50 bottles of mix, 50 bottles of drink for £6.
So you do what, 4 or 5 rides a week now?
Yeah, with the commute.
There you go. 5 weeks. 5 weeks worth of nutrition.
£6, 5 weeks worth of nutrition. Plus, did I tell you about the Wiggle sale? Your boy cleaned up in the Wiggle sale.
You juiced up. Is it name brand or is it Wiggle brand stuff?
Wiggle brand gels, like, let's not play. They're all made in the same factory. I know that's what your mum tells you about Lidl cereal, but all of those gels are made in the same factory, and I won't hear anything about it. And
just different textures.
Just different packaging, mate. They're the same thing. And I bought 5 boxes of gels, and I think 5 boxes of gels cost me £25. And there is 20 in each box. So, when you're talking to professionally carved up athletes like you and I, that won't last long. So, yeah, it's all right. They're okay. The mocha coffee one though, just fucking. It's more of an incentive not to need it than to have to drink it, if I'm honest with you. So,
real emergency stuff. Has it got caffeine in it?
Oh yeah. Not. I will say one thing though. Hang on. This isn't visual. I'm just going to get it because I think people should know about this. You can buy. I believe it's this one. This is you can buy this in Decathlon.
What is it?
It is a Power Bar Power Gel. This is mojito flavored. I thought it was apple. I don't want to get into it, but this has 51 grams of caffeine in it.
How much is a coffee? I'm going to Google that.
I'm going to tell you now, it's a lot.
Flat white coffee caffeine. There you go.
I put it this way: there's 30...
Cyclist now measuring flat whites. So there's around 136 milligrams of caffeine in a flat white coffee, containing 2 shots of espresso.
So this is a single shot espresso. It's 50 grams. 50 grams in 67 mil. So this is just like doing a shot of espresso, and they're like hydrogel. So they go straight down. It's like water. But they do a caffeine shot. I think it's like 150. That's like just a can of Red Bull, and it's about 30 mil. Yeah, they're completely fucked up. But yeah, I'm on the Mega Mix. A few people actually sent messages on the Spin Cycle Instagram account about the Mega Mix. Work in progress. Like I said, the challenge with the Mega Mix is I don't have a control, and I think it was Cam was talking to Harry Aitken and Jacob, friends of our podcast. A lot of people know them. So they would. I think we might try and get Jacob on actually. Talk about how to kind of get into racing grassroots level, or start racing. But I think Harry or Jacob was telling him that what you do is you put scoop of maltodextrin in, an electrolyte tablet, and a caffeine tablet.
That little Pro Plus. But surely you got to grind up that Pro Plus, right? Must look like a right fucking junkie if your wife walks in, wife or partner. If you're like on the pestle and mortar, smashing up some caffeine tablets to put in a drink.
Honestly, like, you think of that stuff. So you've got like the salts, carbs, and the caffeine. That is absolute rocket fuel, isn't it?
Yeah, Marcel Kittel used to not take those pills. Didn't like
Did
them. If you watch, is it Clean Spirited, when it was like Argos Shimano, they're basically showing you how to legally dope. Being like, and the guy was like, "Is this?" It was like all of the vitamins and tablets that you can use to enhance your performance. And the guys making it were like, "Is this legal? Is this like doping?" And the guy was like, "No, it's all legal stuff you can take. It's just like the advantages you can take." Well, technically, it's probably like the grey area, but it's like anyone can take a vitamin D tablet. Anyone can take like fish oil. Anyone can take like caffeine tablets. So that's all it is. Painkillers, basically. And it used to not like the caffeine tablets.
Not like
Not
that little fucking rat, though, is it?
He's apparently Kittle's FTP was 4.8 watts a kilo. But when you can rip 2,000 watts in a sprint, does it matter?
Did you hear? This is a bit of a casual podcast for us this week, but did you hear about Lance Armstrong's wattage up the Cold on a Madone?
No.
Saw it on
Is it still like 400 or something? Like 440?
Yeah, it was like 450 up the Madone.
It's still pretty fucking lean.
Dude, like, God knows it. This was one of those. Have you ever seen the film The Program?
Yes. What's his name?
Chris O'Dowd. Ben Foster, yeah. It's a good film.
I've watched it. Watched the documentaries, watched the films, watched everything.
Oh, we've watched it. Did you ever see that? Oh, God, this is so like weird, off topic. But do you remember that Lance Armstrong documentary where there was a guy seasoning Lance Armstrong's tires in a cave underneath his house? Do you not see that one? I
don't think I've seen that.
Is it
Lance the guy? Armstrong, the maturing tires? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, seasoning tubular tires in his.
I think Planet X I can't remember what podcast it was on. It might have been like Ned Bolton's one where they spoke to like someone from Planet X, or it might have been in one of Ned Bolton's books. I read it where it was like where he was speaking to guys around the scene, and there was like the guy who owns Planet X, and he was like thinking of ways how to like make more money, and one of them was like to sell like matured tires or matured inner tubes that are like harder and thicker. There's no science behind, but it was like there's actually no science, and like none of that stuff actually works. Like all the case studies on it are like maturing tires is like a snake word.
Bollocks. I think that might be it for us this week, right? It's kind of more of a check-in, but we've got an exciting couple of podcasts coming up. I think, and I spoke to you about this before, and I'm really shit at keeping a secret, but I think I've got a guest that's going to have you like a bit speechless.
Oh, I don't know what the secret is.
No, you don't. It's a proper secret. Just don't go in the Gmail account, for fuck's sake. But I've been working on something for a couple of weeks that might be good for you. We've got a number of guests coming on the podcast. Link My Ride. We did a recording with Jacques from Link My Ride. That one's going to come out in a couple of weeks' time. Really excited to talk to him. And there's a cool announcement actually on our podcast about one of the new features that they're releasing. So look out for that in a couple of weeks' time after this one. And speaking to a few different people. So I'm yet to confirm. So I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too early, but got some exciting guests and then a pretty mind-blowing guest. Are we going to do... I know you've done it on the CGC group chat before, Chain Gang group chat. Yeah. Are you going to be putting any of your predictors onto our social media, or have you been on the Pro Cycling Stats website deeply quite yet? Because I know you're buying a house and whatnot.
I haven't been watching cycling as much as I did last year. RIP GCN plus, but I am half watching it. The thing is, I don't know who's actually starting the tour. It's the main issue we have right now. Because last year we kind of we figured it out, but this year you're like, who is start? No one actually knows who's starting for Jumbo Visma. So it's like I assume Jonas and Walt will be there, but you don't have to like. if Jonas is just and they're both not in good shape, would they just not get sent? This is the thing.
I think that Jumbo Visma wouldn't send Jonas Vingegaard if he's not fit enough to win, because you kind of want to let him cook, right? Because he's quite an insular bloke. Like, I went on his Instagram. Do you know the only people he follows on Instagram is his wife and Jumbo Visma? Anyway,
That is aura. That is
yeah.
aura.
But the fact is, I think if he was not even in proper form, you don't send him even because Jumbo Visma would want to win. They are the strongest team. Don't get me wrong, they've got a load of hitters, and Sepkus is incredible, and Tish Benoot and all that kind of guys. But I think if Jonas couldn't win, I don't think they'd field like a proper team. I reckon they'd go for like little breakaways and stuff like that. Really.
Yeah, I think they only want to be there to win. But also, did you watch any of the Dauphiné?
No. Talk to me about Dauphiné.
Derek G, our man from the Giro last year, he came fucking fourth, bro. Here, when you watch here, like Jorgensen and Derek G dropping Roglic on a climb, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Also, Roglic, I have no idea. There's something about him wearing a yellow jersey in France. He's just like melts in the last day. The amount of time I've watched that guy do some.
I can hear me out. Here's what I think Roglic's challenge is. I think Roglic's Achilles' heel is he doesn't know how to dress properly, and I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a weird way, but I heard that one of the reasons. I don't know if it's on a podcast or it was a TV, and they were saying that when Roglic went from Jumbo to Bora, he'd been at Jumbo for years, and he went to Bora, and they had different clothing, different jackets, different stuff like that. And they said Roglic went on a training ride and nearly froze to death because he picked out the wrong jacket. And think about when, think about when he was in that mismatched kit in the Vuelta when he got dropped. He's just like random bits on, or there's been times where he's not wearing the right kit. I think he's just, I don't know what it is. And maybe this is just like a slightly weird thing, but every time it's gone wrong for him, he's always been caught out on his kit.
Yeah. Surely Sportsful and is it Arga? Surely their kits they must have a similar blend of like. But it is crazy that you just might not be able to dress properly. Also, did you see any Tour of Britain women's coverage?
No. I'm sorry, I've been well out of the loop.
Lotte Kopecky did a cycling clinic. She just cleaned up as you would. But the best content was her with all the kids afterwards, just been like giving them giving them hats, giving them jerseys. Like,
I love to see it. Absolutely unbelievable.
She's ultimate pro. It's time for the kids, inspiring next generation. Fucking love her. Like, there's one kid who signed a jersey and gave it to him, and he was burst like he was about to cry with happiness. It's so good. It's so good. All the content coming out of that was just amazing.
Peak. But look, maybe we end the podcast here. Don't know when this is getting released because obviously Taylor Two Hearts. But release this one. I should have a guest soon. And if not, we'll see everybody soon. But thanks for listening in, and bye. Thank you for listening to the Spin Cycle podcast. Don't forget to follow us on your podcasting platform so new episodes are automatically downloaded to your device. You can also follow us on Instagram, Link My Ride, and Strava, so you can see where we are, what we're up to, and the rides we've got planned. Anyway, enough of me. Let's get into the episode. Thanks.